I'm Mal, Lightning Thief musical enthusiast, and this is Demigod Debut, a podcast sometimes about my friend Julie reading the Percy Jackson books for the first times, and other times is about me getting together with other friends to talk about the musical. I am back again with my roommates and musical theater experts, also the minds behind the Hearty Meal Theatre Company, RJ and Cameron.
Hello there.
Hello.
Oh,
That was beautiful. My question for you this time is, what is your favorite musical or musicals?
It's a good question. One of my favorites from growing up was actually Hello Dolly.
Oh.
I just like it when all the townspeople come out with their pretty clothes and they sing real loud. It just, structure and quality. Of course, it's a great musical, but it rewired my brain chemistry when I heard "Put on Your Sunday Clothes."
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
I would say the Lightning Thief.
Why don't I believe you?
I don't know.
Convenient, isn't
I love
it?
the Lightning Thief. But if it wasn't the Lightning Thief, maybe 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Ooh, also a great one.
Wow. I like the Gabe Ugliano musical, 7-layer bean trip to the underworld.
Oh, okay. So this is the second part of the Gabe Ugliano musical, apparently. But perhaps we shouldn't be a pro Gabe podcast this time.
Yeah, down with Gabe. Gabe is bad.
We should be an anti-Percy podcast instead.
Down with Percy, bad.
We can be anti-Percy. I just don't know that the abusive stepfather deserves to have a voice in this story. We don't need to hear that.
Oh, what murder?
I don't know if we need to hear Gabe speak. I agree with that.
We should see
Yeah.
Gabe listen.
I was gonna say we need to hear him sing.
Yeah. All right.
But yes, we're being ironic about Gabe. He's of course a bad man.
I mean, if you listen to Percy, he said he's a world class. He's world class. And Jerk Dad was never there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're really doing the callbacks to last episode.
True. Go watch the
Right.
previous episode if you're not following along. Why'd you skip to the end?
Do you know the lore behind the Gabe Ugliano musical?
If you just joined for the discussion on Act 2, hey, but also you gotta get all the lore.
Go back to part 1.
Speaking of the discussion on Act 2, should we discuss Act 2?
No thanks.
Okay.
Actually, I think we're good. Yeah. So Act 2 of the Lightning Thief musical. So it opens on them exploding the bus, and I do think it's very fun that they use confetti cannons to do so. I do still have 2 pieces of the confetti tucked somewhere in my stuff.
You physically have the confetti still.
Yes, at least I did until I moved into this apartment, and I don't think I've seen it since. But I'm sure it's somewhere. I don't think I would have thrown that away.
It's gotta be somewhere.
I mean, we definitely have rolls of toilet paper, which is also a prop from the show if you want one of those.
Right. Make our own props.
Because of course, Toilet Paper Boy uses those.
Percy Toilet Paper Jackson.
And then our first song of the act is Lost! Exclamation point.
It's a fun one.
It is a fun one.
It's a fun one. I feel like a lot of Act 2 is just like, I don't want to say checking off necessarily, but it's like just quickly going to all the places they go. Because we talked about how long it takes them to get to like the actual road trip when that's kind of the meat of the story. And so, in this act, it's just like, oh, they're here, now they're here, now they're here.
I mean, in terms of division of story between like this and the book, it's actually pretty close. Because they spend about the first, I want to say 10 chapters at camp, and there's only, I think, 22 in the book.
Oh.
So really it is kind of half before and half after, but in a book, you can get a little more into it, I feel like.
Yeah, and maybe I'm skewed by the TV show too, where it felt like they would have an episode about, the arch that they go to, and this one that's like 2 lines,
Yeah, and like not to get too ahead of ourselves, but the song Drive literally spans like 3 episodes of the show that they just do in one song, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, we were talking about where the act break is supposed to be, and it was mentioned before that like, it's odd that they don't start the quest until Act 2. But there's also like not a great place to end an act after that, because it's all sort of like, we're about to go on the trip and then they're on the trip. And nothing is really more important than anything else until the end. You know what I mean? Like it's all sort of
Right, that's true.
Equally weighted.
But I do kind of think that Act 2 is more fun than Act 1, just because I think a lot of the fun and a lot of the story really does happen in the quest. Because I mean, like we said last time, we barely know Annabeth at this point, and that's like the 3rd member of our trio. Like that's when we really get to know kind of our main characters is like on this quest.
Yeah.
Like we really only know Percy.
Yeah, like Grover hasn't sung his little song yet.
Mhm.
Annabeth sung her song. We've heard from Mr. D before we've heard from Grover.
That's very true.
Man debuts his Mr. D song before he sings his Grover song.
I will say, I love George Salazar's voice.
Yes.
Me too.
George Salazar is excellent.
But
No, that was it. That was the whole statement.
And also, I will say that this song, Lost, I sing anytime I am 1 in New Jersey, 2 in the woods, or 3 lost. I have never been all 3 at once, but I do sing this song often. Like anytime I go to Newark Airport, I'm like, I'm lost in the woods somewhere in New Jersey, and I'm never gonna make it to LA.
have you been on the way to LA?
I actually have never been on, I have never been to LA.
Well, maybe you're never gonna make it to LA.
So true.
Something that confused me a little bit about this song is, they're talking like they're scared of being in New Jersey when New Jersey is a wonderful place. I would love to be lost in New Jersey.
I want to be found in New Jersey, found happily, living a great life.
This definitely feels like it was written by someone who is like from New York. I feel like New Yorkers hate on New Jersey a lot.
It's a common meme in musical theater to make jokes about New Jersey. It's in Hamilton, it's in this show, it's in a bunch of shows because it's just a very, I say cheap. I don't necessarily mean like
Yeah, it's an
bad.
easy target.
It's an easy target, yeah, because everyone seeing shows in New York has sort of connotations about New Jersey.
I do think more, structurally, I think this is a sort of smart way to start the act because as we ended on the note of like they're gonna go on their quest, they're gonna be really cool, and then we open up the curtain and it's like it's going bad. They are struggling, and it is this quest is not. They cannot even find their way across the country, and it is a little like, it's a lot of bits, but I think it's in terms of an act opener, like what you want is to get people having fun and laughing before you get to the serious stuff. And I think that was a smart choice of song.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, because literally nothing like goes to plan on this quest. So I think setting that expectation early is good. Like you know that this is going to be rough and this is not going to be some like them being super cool and saving the world. It's going to be kind of us accidentally ending up in situations and somehow managing to make our way out of them, which is fun. It's a fun dynamic, I think.
I agree.
I will say, I also agree.
That's it. Okay.
It's a great song. We love it.
It is a great song. And then right after it, they fight Medusa, which is fun. I don't know. There's not really a song that goes with that one, but I remember enjoying what was happening and like having the other actors play statues like in Medusa's little lair.
There's just a lot of creative staging in this show in general, which I think is one of its biggest boons. Just how creatively they use all the people and all the props and everything like that.
Oh, absolutely. I think, I mean, especially how they use their cast members, like all the, I spoke a little bit, like the doubling's a little weird, but I think it uses like having the mom play, later on in DOA, she plays that woman and she gets to play one of the students, and then like Luke getting to play all this. Like I just think they use all of the actors like to their full potential.
Yeah, it is interesting to me though that like Annabeth isn't doubled, even though she's not really in Act 1 all that much, but like Grover gets doubled, which
Yeah, Annabeth should have been Mr. D.
Annabeth could have been Percy's mom.
Oh, I
Well,
don't like that.
well, Cameron. Cameron.
To clarify, I'm saying the actor playing Annabeth could have played Percy's mom.
That's a different myth, actually.
No, and I get that, We're still, as an audience member, we're still seeing him kiss his mom.
True. Well, do they kiss in this?
They do not.
There you go.
Okay, metaphorically, he kisses his mom.
But still, they do lean into the romantic relationship in the musical a little bit more than they actually do, like, in this book. Just kind of as a, I think, because, like, they're not gonna make any more. I mean, like, there's not gonna be a musical for all the books. So they kind of give us a little, like, they're gonna get together kind of moment at the end. So,
okay, yeah, then she can just play Mr. D. Speaking of Annabeth, I believe her song is next.
Her song is next. And I love this song. 10 out of 10. In college, like anytime I was driving between like my parents' house and college, The volume was up. I was belting this out. It was my time. It was my performance. Big fan of this song.
I have a hot take.
Uh-oh.
I think My Grand Plan is a fantastic performance of an okay song.
Okay.
Okay. I don't. There's nothing that is particularly wrong with the song My Grand Plan. I just think, gosh, what is the actress who plays Annabeth?
Kristen Stokes.
Kristen Stokes. I think she just has a spectacular belt and can belt through the roof. And they gave her a song where she can do that, and she blew it out of the water. And she made the song appear better than it was. Because I've heard a lot of mediocre version of My Grand Plan, and when you hear a mediocre version of My Grand Plan, you start to realize that the song is not doing a lot of work. You really got to you either sing My Grand Plan or you don't. You know.
That's yeah. Okay.
This is for me, and I am maybe not the target audience of the show. It rings very. It's very on the nose, and being on the nose is not always a bad thing, especially when we want to communicate like very simple and relatable feelings. You know, I've always been a smart girl. She's saying what she feels, and again, it's like I don't feel any negative emotions toward My Grand Plan. I just think that it's more of like the greatness of it comes from the fact that it's like it can be and is sung very well. Fight me. Fight me.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Yeah, I do think that like the character of Annabeth does kind of play into some kind of tropes about kind of the smart girl character. I don't know. Annabeth as a character is very important to me, and I feel like this song does a good job kind of explaining her feelings and her thought process in the way that she kind of feels like she has to work so much harder to get recognized, because like she's not a character that has all these special powers, and she's also, you know, a girl in kind of this mythology that's dominated by men. And at some point in the like timeline of this musical, I don't know, there was like an intro outro to this song where Annabeth like listed out different heroes like Theseus, Orpheus, Odysseus, Perseus, and she was like, all these heroes, like they're the same, they're men. And then she kind of like went into My Grand Plan, and then at the end she like listed out the heroes again and then like added her own name at the end.
Oh, that's cute.
Which I thought was kind of fun. I don't know. I also, the way that she says she wants to be remembered, and then just what happens in Heroes of Olympus with Percy and like remembering her. Ugh, just it's good to me. And I think some of it probably just is because I know the source material and I like know this character, and that's why the song hits so hard for me, as opposed to like RJ who doesn't, you know?
And I can respect that.
I'll say about the lyrics in this song, I like this song. I think it's good. I think it's very emotive. I think the performance is good. What is Annabeth's grand plan? Right? It's that she will be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. And, you know, you sort of understand it, but she says, my grand plan is that I will be remembered. My grand plan, just you wait and see. And so it's like she is the child of Athena, you know, the tactician. And she's basically saying, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna be famous. Like, or, you know, not famous, but like I'm gonna be notable in the legends. But it's like not very specific, you know?
Yeah, she has a little bit more of a specific dream in the book. You know, she wants to become an architect and she wants to build something permanent. I do think kind of this song could play into that a little bit more and be like, here are the things exactly that I want to do, because yeah, she doesn't exactly tell us what the plan is, just kind of the end goal of the plan. But
My grand plan, I'll be remembered. The steps of the plan, step 1, be remembered. Step 2, you wait and see, baby.
it's kind of like that one meme that was like, step 1, do this thing. Step 2, profit. Like, you know?
Step 1, be remembered. Step 2, rise up.
Yeah, like you're right. It's not a real plan.
There's parallels to Good Kid, obviously. You know,
Right.
I've always been a smart girl. Good kid.
Yeah. Well, and like leading into this song, she says something about like, oh, when boys mess up, they always get a second chance. And you know, that feels that feels accurate and true, particularly white boys.
Yeah.
Damn. Cameron, how does it feel to have a second chance?
I feel a lot of guilt because of it.
Well, hold on. Gabe never got a second chance.
Oh my God.
He got turned to stone.
Oh, yes, but that's because he was a domestic abuser and
You make a damn good point. Maybe he didn't deserve a second
maybe he didn't.
chance. You better wise up. He's gonna rise up.
Oh,
Bring on that bean dip.
Gabe's grand plan, just you wait and see.
I hate it here. So the song Drive.
Drive.
Oh, also at some point in this scene, I can't remember exactly when, they also send Medusa's head to Olympus, in the box. But it's interesting that in this variation, Percy signs the box from Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase.
What does he normally say?
He just signs it from himself.
Oh.
Why didn't he sign it from Grover?
I know, right? Grover's not included. I guess probably because Grover went off to do something, because this scene is like just Percy and Annabeth on stage. I can't remember why Grover is not there, actually.
Does he find the statue of his?
He does find the statue of his uncle, but it's not like a thing the way it is in the show. He's just kind of like, that statue looks like Uncle Ferdinand, and then it's like, that is Uncle Ferdinand, and then they like fight Medusa. It's not like he doesn't have his whole moment. I don't know. I was just
No, he's gone off to get the blue flowers with red thorn.
What?
Blue flower, red thorn. It's a Shrek reference.
Oh.
When Donkey goes to get the blue flowers with the red
yeah.
thorns. Blue flower, red thorns.
Wait, hold on. Are Shrek and Percy Jackson the same?
I mean, Shrek wanted to be a good kid, a good son. But no one would take his side.
I mean, it's a very similar trio dynamic. I mean, you've got the one girl, you've got the donkey, and you've got
No one ever would take my side. All they want to do is take my swamp.
Oh my God.
I'm a good
6 swamps in 6 years, been kicked out of every place.
No, we're just writing a second Shrek the Musical.
Forget Gabe the Musical. Yeah, we got to do Shrek the Musical.
Too bad that already exists and it slaps. I'm sorry, Shrek the Musical is underappreciated and it rocks. Let your freak flag fly.
Never take it down.
I was in Shrek the Musical in high school. I was the ugly duckling.
Yo, I was in Shrek the Musical in high school. I played Donkey.
Yo, I wasn't in Shrek the Musical in high school.
Fun fact, every role I played in high school was ugly.
Oh, no.
Like, I played the ugly stepsister twice, played the ugly duckling twice, and then I was in Into the Woods as Jack's mother, and the first thing they say about her is, Jack's mother, she was not beautiful. So that's why I have a podcast where I don't show my face.
Oof.
6 uglies in 6 years. Get uglied out of every place.
Exactly.
So anyway, Drive. Drive's a good song. I like it.
Yeah.
Covers a lot of ground.
I love a montage.
It's fun. It does its job.
Yeah, I think we move the story along quickly. I think we get a lot of Easter eggs in this one, like the Bianca cameo in the hotel, because she steps out and she's like, my brother and I got here yesterday, May 1st, 1939.
Oh, I did not realize that was them.
Yeah, it's Bianca. You also have like a 30-second interaction with the Chimera, and we don't do the Tunnel of Love at all. We also don't get a look back at camp in kind of this time period in which this song spans. They, in the book, call Luke in like an iris message, and Luke tells them that like the campers are starting to take sides for like this inevitable war that's coming, and we don't get that here. And I think a look back at camp would be really fun. And like there's a cut song called Pick a Side that's on the like deluxe version of the album, and I very much enjoy that song, and I think it would be really fun to do a little look back at camp. But I don't know if that's just me as like a person who knows the book and like knows what's going on, that I kind of want that, or if it's like that feels like it would enhance the story. I don't know.
Well, what's tough is that we really don't have a lot of in terms of characters at camp. It really is just like Luke and Clarice in the musical, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a bunch of other people, but I feel like those are the only two that have had any weight.
Well, yeah, in the song, it's Luke, Clarice, and Selena.
Oh yes, the Camp Half-Blood made up of 3 people. It makes sense why it was cut. I'm sure it's a bop. But
yeah,
especially when we're dealing with so many high emotions with our 3. I want to listen to that song though. It's on the deluxe version of the album.
Yeah,
nice.
You have to pick a side. Yeah, I just think it's fun.
We love Drive.
We do love Drive. It's just fun.
And this is when they meet Ares too, right?
Oh, I love Ares' part in this. He's just so like I just love how the guy sings it.
And he's on a motorcycle, which is cool.
Yeah, motorcycles are cool.
Yeah, I mean he's on a motorcycle in like every iteration, the show, the book, and the musical, but I don't know, just like seeing the motorcycle on stage and the fact that they have a little sidecar that they put Grover in, I love it.
Why did they put my man in a sidecar?
I mean, only so many people can fit on a single motorcycle, and you've already got Ares, Percy, and Annabeth on it.
He should be in the middle car.
Yeah, put him in the middle car.
It seems kind of dangerous.
It really does. Not one of them are wearing a helmet, except Ares. And he's a god, so I don't think he really even needs a helmet.
He didn't loan his helmet to any of these like weak demigods or even just the goat guy who is not a demigod.
Ares doesn't care. Spoiler alert, he's trying to start a war, so I think he would be happy if they died.
Oh dang, he's not considerate because he's evil. I never considered this.
Let me tell you, if he was the god of safety instead of the god of war, he would have made them put on those helmets.
Hey, I mean, you got to have living soldiers to start a war. You know, if they die in a motorcycle accident, they cannot fight.
That's a good point.
I kind of spit with that.
And does when does the bolt come into Percy's possession? Does Ares give them the bolt, or is it already in the backpack?
It's not really explained so well in the musical. But like in the book, he is given this backpack, and it's basically kind of like his pin sword, as in like when you open the backpack, it's like kind of the holder for the bolt, the same way the pin is like the holder for the sword, but they like messed with the magic so that the bolt is only accessible once he gets to the underworld. Because in this, like he gets the backpack from Ares here and then like opens it later, but it's not clear that like he hasn't had the bolt in this backpack the entire time, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, the weirdest dream reprise.
Yes.
It's so funny to me when this musical brings up Kronos, because I'm just like, he's not relevant, you know, like.
But he kind of is though, because he's the one that's pulling all the strings behind the scenes. Like he's the one that Luke is working for, and he kind of like gave Luke the idea to manipulate Ares into helping them and like all these things. So it's like Kronos is relevant, but kind of as the invisible big bad.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think of an equivalent where like there's a big bad in the story, but we like never really engage with them, and they're just kind of like they were planning things, and we never really stopped them because of the fact that this musical ends at the end of the first book. You know,
Right. And I think maybe it is because, I kind of know where we're going with this, that I'm like, well, it makes sense to have Kronos because the events of this book really wouldn't happen without Kronos. But it's kind of like in telling this story, do we really need to include that part if it's not going to be brought up again in like later things?
Yeah, but then I think you get into the thing of like a lot of people seeing this musical are Lightning Thief fans,
right?
And if they significantly wrote it to just like have Luke be the mastermind behind the plan to start the war between the gods, because that's all you need in this story, then all the fans would get pissed and they'd be like, well, that's not the story. You know, you need Kronos.
Right.
It's that push and pull between what does this musical need and what are people expecting from this musical.
Right. Yeah. It's like, how do you keep the heart of the book for the book fans and also make this consumable by people who are walking in with like no knowledge of the source material?
We've been lucky in our two big adaptations, our Morbius musical adaptation and our Great Gatsby musical adaptation, that we really like didn't. It's not that we didn't care about the source material, but we were kind of like being intentionally irreverent with the source material, which meant we could just do whatever story we wanted. And the fact that we didn't hew to the source material was like a joke on its own.
So your take on the Lightning Thief probably would not include Kronos because you would get silly goofy with it.
Well, you know, if we were doing the Lightning Thief, the parody musical, then yeah, we probably wouldn't include Kronos, or we would include him as like, you know, he's like dancing across the stage in the middle of, you know, the show.
Or we'd like replace Kronos with Gabe.
Yeah, there we go. It was Gabe's plan just to teach Percy a lesson, you know, just to teach him the value of being a good person.
Percy, I've been a very present and active father in your life. It's me, Gabe. I'm trying to teach you with this by stealing a lightning bolt.
Oh God.
There are 7 layers to this lesson, Percy.
So the weirdest dream, I think the fact that you have the actor that plays Luke playing so many roles, I feel like is kind of fun in this song because you have him like answering to this voice in this dream, but also you can't be 100% sure that like which character he's playing in the moment when he's answering, because it's like the same voice. So like to people who don't know, it might still be a mystery, but also they are a little heavy-handed with
Yeah.
the foreshadowing and the like Luke hates the gods thing. So
I hate the gods. Get those gods away from me.
Does Luke get a redemption arc?
Does Luke get a redemption arc and does Luke get a satisfying redemption arc are two separate questions. But unfortunately to me, he does too many just absolutely insane things.
Okay, with no spoilers. At least he's a villain.
I use this song as my justification for calling the daughter of Zeus who died Thalia for years. I was like, her name is Thalia, her name is Thalia. And then all of a sudden the show starts calling her Thalia, which I mean, I think is technically correct, but like you can't just switch it up on me. I've been calling her Thalia for too long. So now I just kind of call her both and hope people know who I'm talking about.
Maybe you could do like somewhere in the middle, you know?
Thalia.
Thalia.
Tahalia.
Thalia. Tathalia. And so then the voice mentions Tathalia,
Really smooth, Cameron.
and Percy says it to Grover, right? And that's why Grover starts talking about it.
Right. Because Percy's like, I had this dream and it said to remember Thalia. And then Grover's like, oh, you're not the first half-blood that I was supposed to protect. And he goes into Tree on a Hill, which is
Yeah.
also a banger. Like, I think this musical really went off with the solo songs, like Good Kid, My Grand Plan, Tree on a Hill, banger after banger.
Yeah. Tree on the Hill is one of my favorite songs in this show.
Maybe if I'd been a little bit braver, maybe if I stayed behind to fight, but maybe doesn't let me go back and save her. Not a dry eye in the house. Ah!
Oof, I'm crying.
I cry all night.
And I also think the staging choice to have Annabeth and Luke and Thalia up on the scaffolding, kind of like acting out what's happening as Grover is telling this story. Oh, it's so good. It's devastating.
It's interesting because I don't know if Grover like needs this, because you know, like Percy is his best friend, but I think it is like really powerful motivation for him, and like really like he honestly has, you know, one of the strongest motivations out of any of the side characters to like do what he's doing. I was a little bit, because I was re-listening to the song, and you know, Grover's telling the story, and he's like, you know, Thalia was taking her last stand, and you know, she fell, and then Zeus showed up, and Percy's like, and he saved her, right? And it's like he's pretty clearly been using past tense. You know, he's been like, yeah, you're the only son of the big three demigods now.
Yeah.
And Percy's like, is she alive? And Grover's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But also I think there's lots of examples in mythology of someone being turned into like an animal or a plant or even like a god as their maybe not a god. I'm like, can I think of anyone who was dying and was turned into a god? I don't know.
Hercules.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Hercules.
You're right. I think when Hercules was dying from the like centaur poison.
Well, so it's interesting what we were talking about with Thalia, right? Where, you know, Percy's like, you know, did Zeus save her? And Grover's like, no. But, you know, by the definitions that we're talking about of getting turned into a lion or getting turned into a plant, Zeus kind of did save her.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what they say. They're like, oh, he saved her life and he turned her into a tree. But like if you are the all-powerful like king of the gods, it feels like if you have the power to turn her into a tree, like it feels like you would have the power to like make her not die. But I guess he's probably just not allowed to, and so that's why he didn't.
Rough stuff.
Zeus is not allowed? Who's stopping? Who's the boss of Zeus? What are we doing?
I guess Poseidon and Hades.
Aren't they all like equal?
Who's the boss of Zeus? That's Gabe Bugliano.
Silence, Zeus. Kneel before me.
Actually, I think so like Rick Riordan is currently writing another like little trio of books that takes place after the Heroes of Olympus, in between the like second and third book series. I feel like maybe that one should end with like, surprise, Gabe was the real big bad all along, and Kronos was working for Gabe.
Oh, he was behind it all.
There we go.
I thought you were gonna say that he was commissioned to start writing real Greek mythology. Like the Greeks were like, "Hey, write some more,
Come up with some more Greek mythology for
please.
us.
Tell us more stories about the gods officially."
I also hope that Rick Riordan gets around to writing a Gabe prequel at some
The
point.
Gabe story, young
See,
Gabe.
if he was gonna write a prequel, I would want it to be a Luke, Thalia, and Annabeth prequel, but
Oh yeah.
just because I feel like their time on the run is fun.
Should we go to the next song?
Yeah, so DOA, a bop as we travel in the Hell elevator or Hellevator.
Can I be honest?
Uh-oh.
This is my favorite song in the whole show.
Oh, okay, great.
DOA is my favorite song. After I saw it on tour, I like got the cast album and I was listening to this on repeat in the car. Like this one,
Yeah.
it rewired my brain chemistry. It's so good.
It's a bop, but I unfortunately am going to have to take this one off my running playlist. Because I've run 4 half marathons this year, which is not a flex. It's a red flag, but twice now, this song has like shuffled on during the moment where I most thought I was going to die, like during the run. And so it just kind of feels like it's manifesting it at this point, and so maybe I won't feel like I'm gonna die. Maybe I wouldn't feel like I was gonna die if I had actually trained for any of these half marathons, but I did not. So maybe it's not the song's fault, but I'm gonna blame the song.
So at your weakest, this song came and helped you continue running.
I mean,
This song saved you.
maybe. I mean, I guess maybe it helped because there was a moment during one of these half marathons where I thought I was gonna throw up more than I ever have, like during any run ever, and I didn't. So maybe that was the power of the song.
Listen, DOA, your vom was here to stay. Stuck in your tummy, never getting away.
Oh gosh. This song also taught me how to pronounce Cerberus, so that's a sleigh. And it also taught me that DOA, like DOA Records, was meant to be like Dead on Arrival, because I missed
Oh
that
yeah.
as a kid.
No hope for survival. You're dead on arrival.
I also really like the lyric where Charon is telling them, you're not going to save what matters. You're not going to be able to protect your friends. You're not going to be remembered. And it's like kind of calling back to each of their 3 solo journeys and like their arcs on this quest, which I don't know, I think is fun.
It's pretty smooth.
I will say a little bit of weak writing from the ancient Greeks in having Chiron and Charon have such similar names.
Yes. And it is a thing in the book when Percy first meets Charon, he's like, is your name Chiron? And that's what gives them away as demigods. He's like, are you dyslexic? And Percy goes, no, I'm dead. It's a good joke. It's a great joke.
This song mentions Mozart, of course, so it's one of my top 5 musicals which mentions Mozart.
What are the other 4?
Well, one of them's got to be Beethoven live in concert.
Of course.
I'll get back to you on the other ones at a later date.
Okay, perfect. It also mentions Josh Groban.
Yeah, which this song is going to age very poorly once Josh Groban dies.
Oh God.
Bold of you to assume Josh Groban can die.
Good point.
He will live on forever as the babyface baritone.
What?
You never heard Josh Groban called the babyface baritone?
I have not.
Well, I guess now he's not a babyface baritone. Now he's just like a regular face baritone. But the fact still remains. It was sort of in his "You Raised Me Up" era.
Oh, okay. I thought he was very good in Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I liked him.
I didn't see him.
Maybe he'll be in the Lightning Thief musical at some point. That'd be kind of strange.
As Chiron?
That'd be really funny, yeah.
He's playing Gabe Ogliano.
When you write the Gabe the Bean Dip musical, I think you should try to get Josh Groban to play Gabe.
We could probably do that. We're probably only like 3 or 4 connections away from him.
Oh no, I'm.
Oh wait, you know somebody who knows him.
Yeah. I probably know someone who has Josh Groban's phone number.
There we go.
I'll get him on this.
That's wild. That's wild.
Side note, I also really like the little the choir boy section with the 3-part harmony. Satisfying to my ear. This song just it's everything for me.
It's a good song.
And you're here to stay. Never stop forever, never getting away.
No hope for survival.
You're dead.
Great. 10 out of 10. And then it's so odd to me that on the like recording, you just go straight from DOA to Son of Poseidon, because everything that happens in between that, like chronologically between them getting to the underworld and like leaving the underworld, so everything in the underworld happens in like various scenes. So like after DOA, you have them realizing that like the shoes are cursed to like drag them into like the pit that is Tartarus. And you also get one of my favorite jokes in any like Percy Jackson iteration ever, where Annabeth is like, I think this pit is Tartarus, and he goes, like the fish sauce.
That's so. Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
I think that joke is so funny.
Like the sauce.
I like that this Percy Jackson really didn't pay attention in class.
Yeah.
He really just was not listening
Yeah.
about the Greek myths.
But this joke also feels very book Percy to me, because he's also got in Sea of Monsters when Annabeth is like, "Oh, my fatal flaw is hubris." He goes, "Like that stuff they put on veggie sandwiches?" And she's like, "No, that's hummus." So this joke feels kind of in the same vein as that one. Those are both like two of my favorite jokes. My favorite jokes are just like Percy mistaking things for other things, actually, apparently.
It's pretty good.
I agree. Also, I do love hummus.
Hummus slaps. Hummus is very good. Top 5 dips for sure. Can't beat bean dip though.
Oh my God, 7 layers. Woo, heaven.
I also think it's kind of fun the way there's kind of 3 main Percy Jackson things we recognize: the book, the musical, the show. And all 3 of them have a very different Hades. Like the Hades in the musical is like very flamboyant. He's probably gay, you know.
I would say there's 4 big adaptations. You can't forget the movie.
Yes, but I like to forget the movie.
I do think they should have tried to get Patrick Page to play Hades in this.
I think he would have. He's had experience. I think it would translate 1-to-1.
Was he still playing Hades on Broadway at this point in Hadestown?
Yeah, I think he was.
So actually he could, because they were right across the street from each other, because Hadestown was at the Walter Kerr and this was at the Longacre. So it was like the Greek mythology street for a minute. He could have just like crossed the street to come play Hades for a second and then go back to Hadestown.
There you go.
Hey, Percy Jackson, sing me a song.
I'm a busy man and I can't stay long because I'm in another show.
I'm DOA, and I'm here to stay.
Yeah. Oh, this is also when they open the backpack and like figure out that the bolt is there.
They get betrayed. They're betrayed by a friend.
They get betrayed by a friend several times, like with the shoes, with the bolt, with the like it's all a big long betrayal.
They have no friends. They're never gonna save what matters.
But they do.
The song was wrong.
And then it's time for the son of Poseidon. And I know RJ, you have some thoughts on this one.
Mallory, what's that lyric that makes me so mad? How's that go?
Face the tide inside of me.
Face the tide inside of me. Face the tide. The tide. The tide is inside of me. I'm gonna face the tide. That's my power. My power inside of me. The power within me. The power of a god is. I'm gonna describe it as a tide inside of me. I just something. It hurts my brain. It hurts my brain, Mallory, because it just is. It's both on the nose and just is and wimpy to me.
Okay.
Because not like it's like a storm inside of me, or like a waving or a raging ocean. It's the tide. Oh no, the ocean's gonna come up a couple feet inside of me. Wah wah. It just something about it. It hurts my heart.
I don't think you understand the genius of that line.
Cameron, I would love nothing more than to hear that line and feel the genius. Because can you explain it to me?
Let me tell you the genius right now. This line is a pun referring to Percy's overwhelming emotions, which are in part rooted in his confidence in his newfound identity in his father, newfound sense of belonging from Annabeth Grover and Camp Half-Blood, and in part rooted in the loss of his mother.
Sorry. Just to clarify, what is his relationship to this god? I don't think it was stated in the song.
Sorry, no, this is the genius annotation to that line.
I thought you were just remarking. This is genius.
No, I'm quoting the genius annotation, the genius.com annotation of that line.
Oh.
Interesting. Thank you for that that take.
Yeah, no problem. I don't like the line.
I mean, hey, the high tide can flood stuff.
Oh, look out. If you can't swim, Percy's gonna get you.
And I mean, also his sword is called Riptide, so you're facing the Riptide inside of him.
if you live below sea level, oh no, he's gonna ruin your property value. Here comes Toilet Boy Percy Jackson. Look out, kid.
Well, maybe the tide inside of him is the toilet paper, and then
The Tide brand toilet paper.
It is because but no, but the tide inside of him is literally the toilet paper because he's like, face the tide inside of me as he's like fighting Ares, and then he sets off the toilet paper. So the tide inside of him is the toilet paper.
there you go, RJ.
You know what? I get it. You know, the only thing I wish is that we got to see like those bears that that are wipe their butts with the toilet paper in the commercials. I wish they featured in this. I feel like they had a story to tell.
The Charmin bears?
Face the Charmin inside of me. And then they come out and they start just like beating up some gods.
Yeah, bring in the bears.
Okay, but right before now face the tide inside of me, right? He says, I'm the son of Poseidon, right? I don't think you understand the genius of that line. Because they say at this part, they use toilet paper to represent water. They stand downstage with Ares up front as they spray him with water.
Right.
That's the genius annotation to that line.
You know, I didn't understand the genius, and now I do.
Now I get it, that he's the son of Poseidon. And so I do enjoy that Ares sings a little bit of like, put you in your place. Because, that's because Clarice is his daughter. She sang that earlier. She also sang that right before Percy took her down with the toilet paper, and then he's about to take Ares down with the toilet paper. The parallels are paralleling.
Oh, that's in this. You know what? I do like the Ares fight part of this.
Yes.
I think that part's really cool. I also just like that guy's voice.
Yeah. He's very talented.
Toilet paper. The irony is that toilet paper is used to dry things up, and here he is using water.
Using it as water. Whoa.
Whoa, it really makes you think.
It really does. We have to unpack all these layers. And then there's a bunch of stuff that just kind of happens in a scene here as well, because Poseidon shows up and, talks to Percy and takes the bolt from him. Percy also like goes home and gives his mom Medusa's head. They just kind of tie up a bunch of loose ends.
Yeah, they're running out of time in the show. Like once you get to the climax of a musical, you really got to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah. I mean, there are still like 2 more songs, but yeah, they just wrap everything up. Then we've come to the last day of summer. It is my tradition to listen to this on repeat on the last day of summer, every summer.
It's a lovely song.
What do you do when the quest is ended? What do you do when the battle's won?
Summer, summer, summer. I like the part when everyone in the background says summer.
Summer, summer, summer. It's giving High School Musical 2. The part of this song though that I love and could write an entire essay on is the choice to have Luke do kind of a good kid reprise here.
Yeah.
And sing kind of the opposite of Percy's good kid, where Percy was like, I never tried to hurt anyone. I just want to be a good kid. And for Luke to be like, I don't care if I hurt anyone. It doesn't pay to be a good kid.
Yeah, it's cool as hell.
Yeah, because like Luke and Percy are just such fascinating foils to me in every iteration of this story. Like they're so similar, but they're so very different in like the way things went for them and where they ended up. And I just have so many thoughts, and this is so good to me. This is so good to me.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to think about a world in which like Percy joins with Luke. Like we never see that happen, but the fact that they're using the same music here is like, oh, Percy could have turned out like Luke.
One of the big differences I always point to, because I think the way both Percy and Luke arrived to camp is so similar, because they were kind of traveling with people that they cared about a lot, and they both lost like a woman who is really important to them. Like Luke lost Thalia and Percy loses his mom. But I think the big difference is that Percy manages to save his mom where Luke could not save Thalia. And I think that among other things, like there's also differences in like their childhood and the ways that they were raised and all that jazz. But I just think, you could see that like had things gone differently, Percy could have ended up being the one to turn on the gods, and like Luke maybe could have been the one fighting for the gods, and like this would have been interesting.
Yeah. If Luke had just waited a couple of books, Thalia would have been fine.
Well, but would she? Because it was all his plot to like bring her back with the fleece. So maybe to bring her back, he needed to turn evil.
Huh. See, I say bring on the monsters.
But also, before you get to bring on the monsters, Luke just kind of stabs Percy at the end of the last day of summer. He just stabs him.
Yeah, take that.
All you get is a backstab and a backslash and a butt stab and a butt slash and 2 knives and 3 knives and 4 knives. It took them away.
Man, Luke is not a nice dude.
He really is not.
He's got anger issues.
But it's a good thing that Percy survives.
Yeah. And I do think if you're not going to make the other adaptations, I feel like this ending is a little unsatisfying because it very clearly lets you know that like there is more story to tell here, because you just have like Luke run off at the end and you still have this whole like Chronos Luke thing that is unresolved. I don't know, an unresolved ending is fine, but I like tying things up with a nice neat little bow.
Well, something interesting about musicals is like the convention for the ending is that you're always supposed to end with hope. It doesn't necessarily need to be a happy ending, but there should be some form of like hope so that the audience doesn't walk out going like, well, now I'm sad. And so the way they kind of spin it, rather than ending with Percy being betrayed by Luke and being like, oh man, that sucked, I got betrayed by friends, he's kind of like, I'm ready for what the world's gonna bring at me. And then in the background, Grover's going drive.
And we're bringing on the monsters.
And we're bringing it on the real world.
If you're looking for trouble, count me in. Give me a call. I'm ready for trouble.
Do we see Gabe get turned into stone at the end of this?
I'm pretty sure Percy like gets a letter from his mom and reads it, and she sends him a picture of her new sculpture that she called Bean Dip. And it's like Gabe, like she's used the head on him.
Art, Bean Dip. What a good place to end on.
Yeah, the last thing, I don't know, do you have any other thoughts on Bring on the Monsters before I talk about the other cut song that I love and adore?
Please take it away.
So there's a song that I agree with the choice to cut it because it does not feel right for the relationship between these characters in this particular book. But it was my top song on Spotify in the year 2022 because I listened to it so many times, and that is the song Try. Oh my God, that song slaps. It is so good, but it's more like book 4, book 5 kind of vibes, but oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it.
Tell us the context.
I don't exactly know at what point it would fit into the show. Probably somewhere in the realm of around the time Killer Quest is happening. It's just a little trio song between Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, and it like starts out with them saying like, 2,000 miles, like LA is really, really far away, and they're just talking about like, I might fail, these other people I'm with, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. I'm going to try my best. And they also do a little thing kind of like they do in DOA, where they do like I'm not leaving your side until you find what matters. I'm not leaving your side until we're back home. I'm not leaving your side until you're remembered. And they kind of play into like those things that they said they wanted in their little solo songs. And it's just, it's a good song and it makes me very emotional, but it also just does not fit in this show. But I love it and I want to give it a shout out.
It's shouted out.
We need more love.
More love for the song Try.
And love for the song More.
And more Try for the song Love. And Dip for the song Beans. Nailed it.
Yeah, so that's the Lightning Thief musical. If you had to rank it out of 10, what would you give it?
11.
7 for the 7 layers of the Bean Dip.
Can I change my answer to 7 for the 7 layers of Bean Dip?
See, I think in terms of my personal enjoyment, it gets like an 11. I love it. I think in terms of like actual quality of musical, I would give it probably lower. But, sometimes things don't have to be high art in order to be great and things that you like. Like I saw a tweet about Limpika that was like, this is not good, but it was made for me. And I feel like that's the energy that we should have about things. Like you can enjoy something that's not necessarily of the greatest quality.
I agree. And hey, if you're listening to this and you loved the Lightning Thief musical, that's great.
I mean, sometimes even when the layers don't mean much, when you put 7 of them together, it amounts to something even more. And that's what it's really all about.
I don't know if you understand the genius of what you just said.
Can you explain it, please?
Can you read us the genius lyric annotation about what he just said?
Yeah. So in the song Seven Layers of Meaning from Gabe the Bean Dip Musical is on genius.com. It says on that line, Gabe loves eating 7-layer bean dip. And the 7 layers are also metaphors for the 7 meanings of life.
The 7 meanings of life, which are, if you could list them.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's enjoying bad art, giving your stepson a good life, even if he's ungrateful, enjoying good food,
Uh-huh.
6 schools in 6 years.
Kicked out of every place, yeah.
Summer just says summer on this one.
Okay, yeah.
This one says proportional taxation based on income.
Well, that's yeah. That's 6.
That's important. That I feel like that should be moved up the list and not be number 6.
And then we got motorcycle helmets.
And that's 7.
I think that's really good. Really encapsulates what it means to live and what it means to be human.
Yeah, that has 6 likes on genius.com.
Wow. And more to come.
Wonderful. I've very much enjoyed talking about this musical with you, and I still love and adore this musical. It is still one of my top 5 favorite musicals of all time. And I enjoyed getting some of the musical theater professional opinions on things.
Hey, we're happy to talk with you. It's a pleasure.
Cool. Do you want to plug your work once again?
Yeah, if you think we're funny, you should check out our writing. You can find us at the Hearty Meal on all social platforms. We have full-length musicals on our YouTube channel. You can see Morbin Time, the Morbius parody musical. Also, The Problem Trolley, which is a musical based on the trolley problem. But what if it was evil?
And probably The Pretty Good Gatsby coming soon.
Yes, we just have to edit it.
Can recommend The Pretty Good Gatsby. I thoroughly enjoyed myself watching that one. Thank you for dedicating your time to this podcast.
Play that thunderbolt and play that fart sound. Take it away, Zeus.
And that really just feels like where the episode ends.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, thanks for listening. Next week, Julie is back and we'll be talking about the movie before we jump into the first 2 chapters of The Titan's Curse in 2 weeks. In the meantime, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at DemigodDebutPod. You can also find our socials as well as the socials for the Hearty Meal Theatre Company in the episode description. See you later. Bye!